All right, welcome back to another Impact Results Marketing Roundtable. I am joined by a few more folks from the Impact team today. We've got, as always, our CMO, George Cece. We have our senior strategist, Lacey Geary. We have Taylor, who's one of our social media strategists. And then we have Mike, a.k.a. Mikey. He is our senior web manager. Handles all things web design, PPC, SEO. He manages that team. So, guys, welcome back. Appreciate you all jumping on, and looking forward to diving into some new things. We got 3 new things to talk about today. George, where do you think we want to start off with the Covid-19 restrictions? Is that a good place to start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, let's dive in.
So at the beginning of the whole COVID-19 quarantine situation, we were seeing a lot of people starting to advertise things like masks and all these sort of PPE types of things. We ourselves had clients who went ahead and changed their entire manufacturing model to be able to provide first responders with masks and the general public with masks. And then it was about, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks into this kind of advertising rush around masks, we started to get ads being declined. And now, we're not just seeing it. It was first on Facebook and Instagram, and now we're seeing it across the board with pretty much every channel out there. So we've worked on some things to be able to help get around those kind of like little blockages. But it seems like with everything with Facebook, when something new comes up, you're playing whack-a-mole. You might hit this one and then this new one comes up. You hit that one and a new restriction comes up. So we've got some pretty good understandings about what's going on. I think Lacey's got the best way to kind of articulate what's happening with Facebook and right now, and then what advertising PPEs or anything else that would help people out through the COVID-19 situation. Lacey?
Cool.
Right. So at first we were able to include masks and images and stuff like that. A lot of the ads we've been running are centered around masks specifically. Now, of course, Facebook came in, they're starting to hanker down on those things. So we are swapping more to video. So kind of telling a story through video and including putting on the mask, stuff like that, kind of hiding that in there and being very careful with ad copy. It's gotten to the point where we have to kind of talk about protection without mentioning masks. So the best way to do it is just have a bunch of backup options ready and just cycle through them. As soon as it rejects one, move on to the next. But it's really about being subtle and getting the point across as clear as you can without using the actual word and without using it in a straight up image.
Got it. So what? Go ahead, George, please.
So some of the let's talk about like some of the forbidden words that will get you flagged on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh man, well, mask, even protection, protect yourself, using yourself with protect. It gets really particular about that. PPE.
Any idea why this, like why the being so strict? I mean, is it just a matter of trying to advertising ethics and trying to prevent people from capitalizing on a bad situation? Like, what can we elaborate on what that might be from?
Correct. And that's exactly what it's from. They don't want people to profit and make money off of a pandemic. One of our clients actually has a how-to video of how to create masks out of different things around the house. And that has done very well because it's not straight up selling it. They have the products to make it, but it's not outright saying, hey, come buy these masks. You can make masks out of this product. So that's a good way to go about it. You're still contributing to society. You're still helping people, but you're not outright saying, hey, come buy our product.
And I think a lot of it was centered on fear-based, and that's where, Facebook, in their advertising at least, doesn't want anything to be done, fear-based. So, I think, I think those kind of tips there are really good for the Facebook side of things, Facebook, Instagram side of things. What about Google and with with AdWords and YouTube and display, Mike?
Mike, I know with YouTube for the e-bike team.
Yeah,
I was one of the ads that you ran. Yeah, you want to? We touched on that a little bit last time, but kind of touch on that again, because I think it's important for people to know, like, I'm literally having to be conscious as we film these new episodes of the series to not say COVID-19 or coronavirus or pandemic, which is really hard when you're just trying to shoot a scene about what's currently going on, because you can't turn it into an ad. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting stuff to unpack there. So, when you upload a YouTube video, not a lot of people know this, but like, they have an automated system that tries to do its best to do like captions for your videos. So it's kind of like listening in and trying to interpret what you're saying, kind of like your, Google Assistant or your Alexa does. And it's using that sort of thing. And so if you're mentioning that, then yes, it is relevant to the episodes. But what's interesting is we had to say, with current events going on, we can't say COVID directly. We can't say coronavirus, because then the ads will get flagged and taken off. And what's interesting is once that happens, like once they know that you've done that once and you kind of recut it, then you're kind of on the thin ice ground where you're like a lot more likely to get flagged again, even if you cut everything out, and you're just more likely to deal with problems. So if you're aware of that, all that going in, just don't say coronavirus or COVID. You'll be much better off. They're currently running, and we're doing great with them, but we did have to deal with a lot of headaches, and a lot of interesting stuff happened. But yeah.
Cool. Anything else as we kind of move on to the next topic on COVID-19 restrictions with ads? Cool. Let's move on to, we try to keep these as quickly moving as we can. I don't know if you guys saw the timestamps of the first two episodes, but they were literally within 1 second of each other. So we've been pretty consistent. We're at like 15 minutes is our time mark. So we need to aim for it. All right, gift card options for Instagram. So there's been a few things that have been changing and being added to Instagram that I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, and you guys kind of touched on it and said, hey, we should talk about it on the show. So what is going on with Instagram? Some new stuff that small businesses, brands could potentially leverage right now.
So Taylor, you could probably start to talk about what we're doing for like Tonique and some of the gift card options and whatnot we've come up with, and why that's important. And then I can kind of talk more about the newer tools that are available.
Yeah, so a lot of small businesses are suffering. I read yesterday that 1 in 4 small businesses will close due to everything going on. So it's really important to support small businesses, but with a lot of them not being able to have people, come in, like salons or coffee shops, small food places, things like that. They're kind of trying new ways to, just get by, pay rent, pay their employees, things like that. So we've been working with a couple of our clients for online gift cards that can be used in the future when, places open back up and everything again.
What's the take? Good, Luke?
I was going to say, so how does it work, the gift card? I mean, I find it in the same place. If I'm going to create one, I find it the same place that I would choose like a GIF or put some text overlay on my Instagram story. Do you create it from there? Like, how does that work? I haven't explored it as much as you.
So, Luke, you're referring to the Instagram option, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Is Taylor talking about something else and I'm just lost here?
She was just going into detail about, how we took clients who didn't have anything online to an online presence with gift cards. But on Instagram, you can connect it. There's a couple different providers that they have. So, like Square and stuff like that. They really expanded it. They started with 3 or 4. I think they're up to almost 10 now. You're correct. You click on the button similar as a gift, you connect all the settings and everything like that, and then you're all set.
I've got my screen. I got my screen set to share here, Luke. I think you can go ahead and enable that. Hello.
Black hole.
Yeah.
It's a Seven Nation Army music video.
Yeah. So are you able to see this without the black hole situation happening?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, cool. So so what Lacey was talking about, it dovetails perfectly with what Taylor was talking about from a strategic standpoint. Is when you're on Instagram, and you can see the type of stuff that I follow on Instagram, mostly just goofy humor. when you're looking at your feed, you can see it here where it says get started, or if you're looking at your own profile, you can go up here to where it says see COVID-19 business resources, and click on that. And after you click on either one of those options, you're taken to this page here that just says business resources. And like Lacey was saying, they've really expanded what's under the business resource section, especially during this time. So there's an option to go out and start exploring forgivable government loans, Facebook small business grants. And then there's the last two that we're kind of talking about here, which are the offer food orders and provide gift cards.
Do they have gift cards for beverages, George? Because apparently you love to toast.
I do. I love to toast. Well, yeah, you can see right there. That's my nightly. Yeah, let me explain that. I don't post pictures of me being a lush on Instagram. Those are my nightly toasts during quarantine. To let people know they're not alone, and so people join in and whatnot. And we give a shout out to each other, in different people in society. Your delivery workers, your first line responders, nurses, stuff like that. But yeah, maybe they do offer a beverage option if Bombay Sapphire is listening right now, work out a sponsorship. But yeah, so you can actually go, once you go there, it takes you to your page, and all you have to do is hit that confirm button. After you hit confirm, you add an action. So do you want to add gift cards? Do you want to add food orders? Do you want to add a donation button? And then once you go through this is the gift card flow here. You come up with the options that are available, and we really like to tell people to use Square because it's really the most streamlined and seamlessly integrated. You add your partner link in there, so it will be squareup.com/gift or /your URL for it. And then what happens with that is you actually have the sticker now that can be used in your stories, and you can actually put that gift card sticker in your stories. So somebody clicks on that, it's taken to the URL where they can actually buy the gift card. Same type of, and you choose your partner. You add your partner link there, and then after you're done doing that, then it appears in the stories. So after you've done that, you can actually start adding them to the stories. If you haven't set it up yet, sometimes when you're in stories, you'll actually get this this little pop-up here that says "Get started now." Takes you to those other windows we showed you, and then of course once you're in stories, here's what you do. You just go ahead and you grab any of these, support small business, gift card, food. It's gift card and food orders, the big ones, or donation. And I've seen a lot of really great things happening with small businesses who are kind of working together. They will post 3 or 4 different stickers. And kind of leave that for people to kind of go through and donate across the board for any of the other businesses that they are actually friends with.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's something that right now, small businesses could tap into and start doing immediately, because those that are just going to be allowed. We're in West Virginia, so we're obviously a little bit different than other states. But at least in our state, it seems like most businesses that we visit on a daily basis are going to be allowed to start reopening if they already haven't by Thursday of this week. I think restaurants are going to be at half capacity, things like that. So even though traditional media advertising is still a thing, at least on the local level, it might be kind of hard for John's Diner to start rolling the radio ads out or beefing up X, Y, and Z advertising the day he opens, but this is something that he or she could do quite easily. And salons, gyms, food, different things like that. I feel like they could tap into this and at least try it on their own. Would you guys agree with that?
Right.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It'd be awkward if you said no. I don't agree, wouldn't it?
No, Luke, you're horribly wrong.
Awesome. Well, cool. Let's dive into attribution modeling quickly to kind of close this thing out. So, who wants to start that one off? Is this Mikey? Is this your topic?
So I think we can both speak on this because I can for Google Analytics, but I'm gonna let George kick this one off because he's got a lot of the bridge information, and then I'll come in later.
Yeah. So whenever whenever we're doing e-commerce for anybody, and with so many new companies, not new companies, but established businesses who previously didn't have an e-com presence, starting to move towards e-commerce and setting up a Shopify store or a WooCommerce store or a BigCommerce store. It's really important to understand when you start running ads, how that actually works and how to say, okay, great, the ads I ran on Facebook and Instagram actually got me this much money. The ads I ran on Google got me this much money. And how do you actually really go about measuring that and knowing where your advertising dollars went? So there's a couple different attribution models, and the one that Lacey and Taylor and I can speak to pretty well is Facebook and Instagram. And then you have Google's version of it, but you also have the analytics inside of your Shopify store or whatever cart system you're using. One would think that because it's digital marketing, it would be measured the same way everywhere. And it's just not the case. So there's two main models, and I'll let Lacey, Taylor, and Mike kind of talk about the two models. One is called linear attribution, and the other one's called nonlinear attribution. So, Mike, let's start off with linear attribution.
Yeah, so linear attribution is basically, it's really straightforward. So somebody clicks on the ad, converts directly on at the same time, and checks out. I think what's interesting about linear attribution is if you're in Shopify, right? Like if you have a Shopify store, you can click on the orders individually. If you really super care and are doing all that detailed stuff for your business, you can click on the orders and you can see, okay, this person visited through organic Google, and then they got hit by a remarketing ad from Facebook, and then that's when they converted, or they got hit by a catalog ad, and then they converted from that. So you can kind of look at the buyer's journey and attribute it accurately. But then you also have, and I don't want to steal the other one away, but you also have the nonlinear. You guys can.
Yes. So nonlinear will show you longer windows. So like a 28-day window of an entire journey, and it'll attribute back to the different ads and stuff like that led them through all the way through that purchase. And that's super important to look at because people have different ways that they buy. For example, George is an impulse buyer. George is that person that will click on an ad, buy it immediately. It will take 2 minutes time tops, and it'll be done with. I'm a person where I will look at an ad, I'll think about it, I won't click on it, I'll keep thinking about it, I'll see it again, then I'll click on it. It'll take me about 2 weeks to decide on it, and then I'll purchase. That's super important to make sure that your windows are long enough to catch every single different type of buyer. If you limit yourself to just linear, you're going to miss the entire buyer journey, and your data is not going to match up with that.
You're only accounting for the impulse buyers if you just use linear. Is that right?
Right. Yep. You're going to miss all this other important information that could really help your marketing mix.
We get that a lot with clients that's what they want to see. Like, well, we want to know how many people clicked on the ad and bought them. Well, that's great, but that's literally saying the same thing as I only want to know how many impulse buyers you brought me. I don't care about John, Samantha, and Lacey who saw the ad, did some research, left, came back later and purchased. So that's the difference between linear and nonlinear. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good summary.
And really where the new kind of Shopify store owner is going to get tripped up is when they look at the Shopify analytics. You're just going to see where it says sales attributed to marketing. All that means is sales that were attributed to impulse purchasers. Think of it that way, because it's not going to take that full 28-day kind of path into account. The other thing too is that you could be missing out on your ROI calculations or your return on ad spend calculations, because if you're only tracking what's being purchased in a day, okay, it might. Here's the thing: it defaults to essentially Google search. Pretty much it defaults to Google search. And when you're using Google Analytics to tell you who's doing a better job, here's a really big secret. Google never loses when you use their tool.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
it's always that's like if you come to us and we're going to tell you we're the greatest marketing company there ever was. And we are. But if you go to another marketing company that's equally as good, that is the biggest issue I've seen. Not every client, it's pretty small, but we've seen it to where they're like, well, Google says that Google's sending more traffic and converting than Facebook. Well, of course they say that.
Yeah, that's what Facebook says.
Yeah, guess what? Yeah, guess what Facebook's going to tell you, Mr. Client. Yeah, so is there a secret is there one tool that how do we measure attribution? Is there one platform, one tool that will tell us like it is, or do we have to look at Facebook for Facebook, Google for Google, and understand that the Facebook's going to say Google's not doing as good as Facebook, and Google's going to say Facebook's not doing as good as Google? What do we need to know about how to properly look at the attribution on these ads?
Well, we get them to work together. So like what we're really concerned with is like, and we answer this a lot, especially for clients where we have PPC and Facebook ads going for. It's like if they're all working, Google might say they're making a little bit more, Facebook might say they're making a little bit more, but both of them are doing awesome. So like, a lot of the times the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like Facebook will be pretty. That's why another reason why I like to look at that buyer's journey on the Facebook orders. Because you can kind of see, okay, maybe this person discovered me this way and then they converted this way. But yeah, they're all going to take credit for it probably.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
One of the things you can look for too when starting out is pick one ad platform to start with. If you're just starting out with with your online store, like a lot of people are going to be starting or have been starting since quarantine, is to start with one thing. Start with, if you want to start with AdWords, if that's your comfort level, start with AdWords. Give that 2 months, see how that's working, and then add in Facebook and notice, was there an overall lift in sales? That's the big thing you need to look at. Or start with email marketing. If you don't have a list, even if you're a brick and mortar store, you need to get yourself your email list of your customers and start with email marketing for a couple of months. See what that does, and then add in Facebook or add in Google and notice, is there overall lift to everything you're doing? And then getting to know that lift difference is really critical. Also getting to know that whenever you run an email campaign, one of the first things you should look for, you run an email campaign, you will see 9 times out of 10 a lift in traffic from search. Running any search ads, that email campaign is going to get people to go, okay, let me check this out. Or it might just stick in their head later on in the day. They're on their phone, watching TV. Oh, I saw that great deal come from Hate Brand Goods or Barbell Voodoo or something like that, and then go directly to the website. Notice those types of things happening within the way people are interacting with your store. Same thing for if you're running AdWords, you might see more traffic come from Facebook. If you're running Facebook, you might see it lift AdWords. But add people to the puzzle incrementally.
Yeah. And it all contributes to Google Organic too. So like just to quickly build on what you're saying is like if you drive a lot of traffic from AdWords and from Facebook, then your organic is going to naturally increase because Google's going to say, this guy's getting a lot of traffic. His site must be very relevant and rank you up. So it's like a triple benefit there.
Yeah, and I will say this is very much a mentality thing. A lot of people look at these different channels as enemies. They're actually allies. It's not the question of, should I be putting my money behind AdWords as opposed to Facebook? They all work together. The sea will rise all together, and it's all going to help out each other. It's not, people always look at it as, well, I could be doing better. I should switch to this platform instead of this platform. If you can, being on all of them will really accelerate you the quickest.
Exactly. Yeah, we're one piece of the pie. I mean, we've had people that listen to the motor marketing podcast that we have on Racer X's channel that have reached out and been like, so should I advertise with Racer X or should I run Google ads or social media? And the answer is you should do everything that you're able to do, because somebody's going to look in that magazine, they're going to see your review of your product, and then they're going to go to Facebook and they're going to see your ad and be like, oh, I recognize them. And then they're going to go to Google and get hit with your ad. It's all multi-attribution or multi-touch, like Lacey was saying. So definitely the worst thing you could do is just one thing. You need to try to figure out how to do multiple, be everywhere you can at once. So
I think
awesome. Mike, go ahead.
If I could add one thing to what you were just saying there, too, and if you're curious as to what specifically you should spend on each platform, we did a breakdown on the Impact blog if you want to check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, if you could go on, comment in the on YouTube, drop that link in the comments so that they can find that blog, because that is definitely something that is that's helpful. So
sure.
Awesome, guys. Well, we went twice as long today, but I think I'm good with that because we had some good topics, and we're going to try to do this at least every other week, and as we kind of transition back to more normal life, and we're planning on and everybody being back in the office by June 1. I think it'll be a little easier for us to collaborate and do this maybe on a weekly basis. So if you have questions, put them in the comments, and it'll give the team something to work with as far as what topics we're going to do next time. So appreciate everybody joining us, and have a safe and glorious day.
Take care.
Yeah.